Excuse me, iTunes needs your...
I've received a message from His Excellency the Governor-General recommending, in accordance with Section 56 of the Constitution, an appropriation for the purposes of the Appropriation Bill No. 1 of 2022-2023, and I call the Treasurer.
I present the Appropriation Bill No. 1, 22-23 and the explanatory memorandum.
First reading. A bill for an act to appropriate money out of the Consolidated Revenue Fund for the ordinary annual services of the government and for related purposes.
The Treasurer.
Mr Speaker, I move that this bill be now read a second time. Tonight, as we gather, war rages in Europe. The global pandemic is not over. Devastating floods have battered our communities. We live in uncertain times. The last 2 years have been tough for our country. There have been setbacks along the way. But Australia remains resilient. Australia remains strong. Along the way. But Australia remains resilient. Australia remains strong. We have overcome the biggest economic shock since the Great Depression. Our recovery leads the world. Faster and stronger than the United States, the United Kingdom, Germany, France, Italy, Canada and Japan. Mr Speaker, those opposite said the biggest test for our government would be what happens to jobs. Tonight I confirm to the House unemployment is at 4%, the equal lowest in 48 years. There are now nearly 2 million Australians more in work today than when we came to government. More women in work than ever before. And this budget will see unemployment go even lower, delivering more jobs and higher wages. This is not luck. Our economic plan is working. JobKeeper saved 700,000 jobs. HomeBuilder helped more than 100,000 people into a home. Taxes are lower for more than 11 million Australians and 3.6 million small businesses and sole traders. Our AAA credit rating has been maintained. Mr Speaker, this is our record. Mr Speaker, a strong economy means a stronger budget, and this is what we deliver tonight. The largest and fastest improvement to the budget bottom line in over 70 years. By the end of the forward estimates, the budget is $100 billion better off compared to last year. More people in work and fewer on welfare. Repairing the budget without increasing taxes. The deficit for 22-23 is expected to be $78 billion or 3.4% of GDP. Over the next 3 years, this will more than halve to 1.6%. Net debt as a share of our economy will peak at 33.1% at the 30th of June 2026, significantly lower than what was forecast last year. We have drawn clear lines, banking the dividend of a stronger economy, ending economy-wide emergency support. When we did so, those opposite were quick to criticise. When Labor starts spending, they simply don't stop. And the result is higher taxes and higher interest rates. Only the coalition can responsibly manage the budget and strengthen our nation's finances. Mr. Speaker, our thoughts tonight are with those who have lost loved ones, homes and businesses in the catastrophic floods across New South Wales and South East Queensland. Nothing I say can overcome the personal pain and loss so many Australians have felt. We will stand with these communities and help them rebuild. Already over 1 million disaster payments have been made. Total support to families, farmers, small businesses, local governments and their communities is expected to exceed $6 billion. It will deliver hope, work and the prospect of returning to a better life. Mr. Speaker, tonight we look to the future, realistic about the growing threats we face, ambitious for our country and our children, optimistic about what can be achieved. As we emerge from the pandemic, we are building an even stronger, more secure and confident Australia, where aspiration and enterprise are encouraged and rewarded, where families have greater flexibility and choice, where those in need get a helping hand, where greater self-reliance leaves our nation less vulnerable to threats, where our modern competitive industries create new jobs, where Australia and our allies protect the national interest. This is our vision for Australia, and this is what tonight's budget delivers. Cost of living relief now, a long-term economic plan that creates more jobs, record investment in essential services, stronger defence and national security, a plan for the times. Mr. Speaker, events abroad are pushing up the cost of living at home. Higher fuel, food and shipping costs are increasing inflation and stretching household budgets. Tonight, the Morrison government announces a new, temporary, targeted and responsible cost of living package to ease these pressures. Practical measures that will make a difference. Fuel excise will be cut in half. For the next 6 months, Australians will save 22 cents a litre every time they fill up. A family with 2 cars who fill up once a week could save $30 a week, or around $700 over the next 6 months. Whether you're dropping the kids at school, driving to and from work, visiting family and friends, it will cost less. This cut in fuel excise, which takes effect from midnight tonight, will flow through to the Bowser over the next 2 weeks. The competition watchdog will monitor retailers to make sure that these savings are passed on in full. This temporary reduction in fuel excise will not come at the cost to road funding, which will see more than $12 billion spent in the coming year. Mr. Speaker, tonight I also announce a new one-off $420 cost of living tax offset for more than 10 million low and middle income earners. Individuals already receiving the low and middle income tax offset will now receive up to $1,500 and couples up to $3,000 from the 1st of July this year. This measure comes on top of the $40 billion in tax relief already provided by our government since the start of the pandemic. Under the Coalition, taxes for hard-working Australians will always be lower. Mr. Speaker, tonight I also announce a new one-off $250 cost of living payment delivered within weeks to 6 million Australians. Pensioners, carers, veterans, job seekers, eligible self-funded retirees and concession card holders will benefit. Together with existing indexation arrangements, this will see a single pensioner receive more than $500 in additional support over the next 6 months, just when they need it most. Mr Speaker, to provide further cost of living relief tonight, I also announce greater access to medicines for 2.4 million Australians. For many Australians, incurring these costs